Hi everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids, and this has been a very exciting evening. We have just been experiencing the Apple WWDC 2012 Keynote, and the Keynote is still actually going on as I speak. So very exciting evening for anyone remotely interested in anything to do with Apple. And I want to welcome you all into this live stream. If you've got any questions, comments, put them in the comment section and I will try and scan across them and answer them as this live broadcast is going out. Now, tonight is all about Apple. We've got a jam-packed hour of Apple news, and I've altered my schedule a little bit just so that I could bring you right up to the minute news coming in from the Apple WWDC. I've also switched things around a little bit, so I'm not going to kick off with necessarily the biggest news first. I'm going to cover off what is available already to look at on the Apple website. And I want to start off just talking to you a little bit about the new version of Mac OS X. Now, Mac OS X Mountain Lion is obviously coming on desktop type into, you will be able to actually use the dictation app to talk into the application. That could be anything. It could be your mail app, or it could even be something like a Facebook update or a Twitter update. So anywhere you can type within your operating system, you are going to be able to use dictation. That is absolutely fantastic. Now, I just want to, let me just do this 1 second. Just want to give a big shout out before I move on to the next features, which are really exciting. Some of the better features I've saved till last on the Mountain Lion announcement. Before I do so, I just want to say again a big thank you to everyone who's joined me. There are lots of you commenting. It's great to see so many people come in to see this live broadcast. YouTube Live is new to me, and it's something I'm going to be bringing you when there's big special events like this. So it's a real pleasure to share the big news as it happens. Just cutting across to the live event that's still going on. iOS 6, they're just sort of coming to an end on iOS 6, and we have got plenty of new features to actually talk with you about before I finish this broadcast. So moving on, we'll go back to some of the announcements that came out for Apple's new Mountain Lion. We have got a new Safari. Now, they normally do this when they bring out a new version of the operating system. We've got faster browsing, faster JavaScript support, a new smart search. So you can actually search within the address bar. We've seen this elsewhere. One of the biggest features that they've introduced to Safari is iCloud tabs, or iCloud tabs. And this is something that sounds very, very exciting. What iCloud tabs does is once you're signed into your free iCloud service, it allows you to sync those tabs or synchronize those tabs over various devices. I think this sounds really exciting. You'll be able to see all of the tabs you've got open on your desktop and then go to your mobile device such as your iPhone or your iPad, and then you will be able to do a gesture and actually see those tabs on that other device, and vice versa. If you've got tabs open on your iPad and then you go to your desktop machine, you'll be able to get up the iCloud tabs and gain access to all what you've been doing on your mobile device as well. This is probably one of the sort of most exciting features that they actually announced. For me anyway. I'm a big Safari user, and although I do dip in to use Google Chrome on occasion, I absolutely love Safari as my main browser. And then they introduced another feature, and this one I sort of laughed about when they actually introduced it, and it was called Power Nap. Now, for me, Power Nap just seemed a little bit of a strange thing to announce, but it is a very clever application. It's just the name that made me laugh, really. Now, Power Nap, keeps everything up to date whilst your Mac is sleeping. Now, obviously, it's going to be in not a deep hibernation sleep. It's going to be sort of in this sort of just low power mode. But it actually updates everything, including like your emails, your notifications, and it even does backups and software updates whilst your Mac is sleeping. So there's got to be some power going to the device. In my mind, all of the notifications it's going to queue up for when you bring your Mac back to life. But Power Nap sounds a very interesting feature. And this is Apple trying to make things as simple as possible for users. They're trying to take away all of the interaction for software updates and all of the wait states that you're going to do whilst you're waiting for things to download or you're waiting for new emails to come in. They're trying to make those instantly available. So as soon as you wake up your MacBook Air, for example, you're ready to work, play, or do whatever you need to do. So very, very interesting that they've introduced Power Nap. Just looking across to my live stream again, it seems that it has now finished, so I can bring you up to date on everything that's been announced. So moving on, we will go back to... Oh no, there is one more very important thing. Almost forgot. Mac OS X Mountain Lion. This is actually amazing. I almost forgot this. It's available in July. I would probably guess the latter part of July. Via the Mac App Store as an upgrade. $19.99, which I suppose is going to equate to round about the £12 to £15 mark if you're in the UK, July. And if you buy a new Mac now, any of the Mac lineup, you will get an upgrade to Mountain Lion free of charge. So if you buy from today onwards, you're going to get a free upgrade to that latest version. Very, very cool. Really pleased with that news. So next up, we're going to backtrack all the way to the beginning of WWDC 2012 when Tim Cook took to the stage. Just to explain, WWDC is primarily for developers and it runs all week. It's just the keynote that we've just watched. Throughout the week there's 112 sessions for developers and 125 labs. They've got all of their engineers on site so developers can really get one-on-one with these engineers and really explore the new features that have just been announced. Figures, they always start off the WWDC with some important figures, and these amazed me. I won't bore you too long with them because we've got so much to talk about. 400 million accounts on the Mac App Store. That is absolutely amazing. 650,000 apps and 30 billion apps downloaded across their devices. That is unbelievable. Now, developers obviously earn money. They earn quite a good healthy percentage. I think it's 70% of revenue developers get, and they've paid out over $5 billion to developers. That is just unbelievable, and just a big round of applause to Apple for the amount that they've actually paid out to developers. So we will move on. I was just looking at the Apple websites now just to see if they've updated anything, and at the moment none of the new bits and pieces are on the websites. Both the Apple stores in the US and the UK are still down, so I can't bring you any sort of pictures of some of the new products, but we're going to move on to some of the real big things that came out of WWDC. So you're going to be stuck just with my mug shot on your screens, but I will let you know as much as I can about what has actually been announced. So what have we got here? I have my notes in hand, and the first thing that really I didn't think they'd kick off WWDC with is new MacBook lineup. Refreshes to the complete range of MacBooks. So big news. Now I was hoping that I would be able to bring you some actual pictures of these, but as of yet the Apple stores are not back online, and both of the Apple websites are not upgraded with the new MacBooks. They have just upgraded them. They've just updated the website, so I can share with you the websites. Let's just get this on screen for you. We have got new MacBook Airs. Let's pop this up on screen. Absolutely fantastic. Range. Well, I mentioned to you about all of the new actual hardware changes with the battery. I'm not sure if this has actually changed for the better or for the worse, but the battery seems to have taken a hit actually for a little bit for the worse at 5 hours battery life. I'm sure that on previous generations we got a little bit better than that, but certainly a 5 hour battery life is acceptable, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. The prices for these new MacBook Airs start at $999. Can't tell you the UK prices at the moment, but that's, I think, a little bit dearer than the previous ones, and then they go right up to $1,199. The big surprise with the MacBook Airs is that they're shipping today. How cool is that? So the new MacBook Airs with up to the 512 gigabytes of flash storage, which is big news. Before we were stuck with 256, shipping today. That is absolutely fantastic. Then we moved on to hear about another new laptop. So I'm going to share my screen with you again and show you gigabytes of flash storage on the new MacBook Pro. This is amazing. With regards to the processors, quad-core Ivy Bridge i7 2.7 gigahertz, up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then we've also got SD card, we've also got HDMI and USB 3, and we've got a 7-hour charge, 30-day standby time as well. This is absolutely amazing. So really just amazing performance on these new machines. Latest quad core performance that I just mentioned. This really is an awesome machine. Next generation of NVIDIA graphics, the same NVIDIA graphics that they upgraded the regular MacBook Pros with, which is the GT650M from NVIDIA. Just so important that you take a look at this new generation of MacBook Pro. Ports and connections you're seeing here, we've got an SDXC card slot, we've got HDMI, we've got 2 USB 3 ports. Now the important thing about the USB 3 ports is they are also compatible with USB 2 without it being a different connector. 2 Thunderbolt ports, and of course the headphone port on the side there as well. With regards to the FaceTime camera, we've got the same sort of HD FaceTime camera. We've also got dual mics built into these as well. This is apparently a very important feature because dual mics will enable you to use the new generation of voice apps that's coming out. Backlit keyboard, Bluetooth 4, compatible with the Blackmagic Cinema camera that I love. Had to get that in there, and it just looks absolutely phenomenal. Starts at $2,199. Can't tell you about any UK pricing at the moment, but certainly, and just a fantastic machine. Now that $2,199 in the US is going to get you a 15-inch new MacBook Pro with 2.3 gigahertz quad-core processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 256 gigabytes of flash storage. So a really phenomenal machine for the money. A little bit more expensive than I was expecting personally, but certainly it's a good specification machine, and the Retina display is going to be one of those things that you're really going to have to see to understand what it's actually sort of going to deliver to you. Let's just move on. We have also got well, no Mac Pros, which is a big shame. No announcement for new Mac Pros. I personally was really hoping for a new Mac Pro, but we didn't get anything on that front. Maybe they'll do a quiet update. They can do this without it being part of the keynote. So keep your eyes peeled on the Apple website for new Mac Pros over the next few days. Now I'm going to take a very quick break, about sort of 60 seconds. I'm going to play you a little video just while I regroup my notes, and I'll be back with you with some more news that came out of WWDC 2012. Welcome back. Let's get on with some more news that came out of WWDC 2012. I've just seen on the comments here that you had some problems with audio. So apologies that we had some problems with audio throughout this stream. Hopefully the audio will be back with you now. You must take into account I'm dealing with multiple streams of information coming in, some new news coming in as I am broadcasting. So please do bear with me with the audio problem. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear now. I'm going to go through some of the questions before I move on to the iOS 6 news. Ashley's Apps has asked, will we see the iPod Touch 4th gen with Siri? Well, there was no mention of that during WWDC, so that seems very doubtful. We've also got a question in from Mad Gear Nitro 2809. What are you going to try and get in for review? Well, before WWDC started, I was very keen to get a new iMac in for review, but we didn't hear any news about a new iMac. So that's a little bit of a shame. I'm very tempted to get in one of the Retina display MacBook Pros. Not sure at this stage. And as I say, my disappointment lies in the fact that there was no Mac Pro announcement and no iMac announcement. But I can see that happening quietly on the Apple website over the next couple of weeks. If I don't get one of the Retina display MacBook Pros in, then definitely an iMac will come into the Geekanoids studio at some time. Somebody's also mentioned there was a new Airport Express. I haven't seen that yet. I need to really check with the Apple website to get up to date on that, but definitely not seen any announcement on that at the moment. Let me just check to see if anything's come through on the stores. The Apple stores are still both down, so this is still happening live. The Apple stores haven't been brought back online, so I can't discuss any of the prices with you yet, which is a little bit of a shame. And I'm going to go back to just take a few more questions before I actually move on to the iOS 6 news. Now, we have got a lot of people saying they agree with Sam J. Pullen, who obviously I watch his videos, so I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Going out 1, 2, 3, where can we see the WWDC recorded? Well, Apple normally launch the videos either very late on in the same day, so should be later on today for you in the US or early morning for the UK. And they also make them available as a download as well, so you can normally download them via iTunes to watch on either your desktop or your mobile device. So I'd imagine probably within the next 12 to 24 hours you'll see something that you can watch. Next one is from Inglis N Squiz. How badly do you reckon us Brits will be ripped off on the new MacBook Pro? I assume you're referring to pricing. Well, pricing between the US and UK, I have covered this in some of my other videos, isn't really that bad. We do sometimes get a little bit of a raw deal, but once you add on sales tax to the US price and you counter in the actual shipping costs and import duties, etc., it really isn't that far off the mark. Don't forget that UK prices include 20% value added tax. I don't know where the word value comes into it. I don't value it. I think it's bad value, but we get 20% tax included in our prices. In the US, the prices you're seeing don't include the sales tax. That's added on when the purchaser makes that purchase. So I don't think we're going to get too bad of a deal in the UK. It's still going to be expensive, but then it's going to be comparable to the US prices. Stobart Group Nick, do you think that older iPhones will support Siri? Probably not. I don't think that's going to happen. Apple have got this habit of when they bring out new features and it doesn't work well on an old device, they don't want you to have a bad experience, so they make it only available on the better performing hardware. Anu Barvi, will there be a next generation 13-inch MacBook Pro in August? Well, I'm assuming that they're going to get the same upgrades that the rest of the range have got. We had the new updates to the MacBook Airs. Nothing was mentioned about the 13-inch MacBook Pro, but I assume they're just going to get the processor upgrades and the flash storage upgrades, the same as the 15-inch model got. Great question, that one. Next one is 10 Holly. iPhone 5 on September, October. I reckon we're going to see it in the October time frame. And that is it on the questions so far. So I think I'm going to move on at this stage to talk a little bit about iOS 6. Now, iOS 6, I thought we were going to see this announced alongside a new device. So I was really hoping that we would get iPhone 5 alongside it, but alas we didn't. So we got to learn about the new features of iOS 6. Now, the iOS 6 section was kicked off by saying that there are now 365 million iOS devices out there. That is phenomenal. 365 million. And then they moved swiftly on after some of the figures to say that iOS 6 is going to incorporate 200 new features, and these included Siri being enhanced. Now, when Siri was first introduced, I didn't really use it that much after the first couple of weeks. So when they said that this is one of the headlining features of iOS 6, I was a little bit like, is this really going to be a good thing? Am I really going to use Siri even though it's been updated? But the updates do sound very good indeed. We've got updates to sports, restaurants and movies, so you can ask specific questions about what movies are on in a certain place, about certain sports players and sports results and venues, and it will come back with an answer. So it seems they've put a lot of effort into updating Siri with new information. You can even use Siri for launching new apps as well, so that is brilliant. The fact that you can use your device hands-free and launch an app, you can actually dictate into the app. They're really giving you a hands-free experience, so this is great. There is some new Siri integration in some of the other features, which I'll be covering off in a short while. Then they went on to talk about Eyes Free, which is their way of integrating the whole iOS experience and using your device whilst you're in a car. This is absolutely brilliant. The car manufacturers they've got on board so far are BMW, General Motors, Mercedes, Land Rover, Jaguar, Audi, Toyota, Chrysler and Honda. So they're all on board so far. And what this is going to actually enable them to do is to have like a one button to touch on their steering wheel, and then that will activate Siri, and then you can operate your device to either make a call or answer a call or do some extra things, which again I'll be talking about in a short while. Then they went on to announce that Siri is going to be coming to the iPad as well, which is really great news. No mention of whether it would ever come to the iPad 2 or the iPad first generation, but they mentioned that it will be coming to the new iPad. So the third generation will definitely get it. My guess is the older generations won't get it at all. Then they went on to tell us about Facebook integration. Well, we saw Twitter integration in iOS 5. Facebook integration is coming to iOS 6. You can even log into your sort of app store on your device and like apps. I don't know if I'm ever going to do that myself, but they're integrating Facebook, so live with it whether you're a Facebook user or not. I'm not a great Facebook fan, but I suppose we could see this one coming. We've also got an update to the phone app. This was a long time coming. The phone app hadn't really been changed since it was first released on the very first iPhone. But now, in addition to sliding to answer a phone call, we can also slide upwards to reply with a message such as you're busy or do not disturb or we'll call you later. They've got sort of some predefined messages you can send out, or a reminder so that you can get a reminder of that call coming in at a later date or a later stage during the day. And then this was really something that I've been asking for a long time, not just with the iPhone but with other devices as well. Apple have done it what looks like being a superb way, fully configurable, a new do not disturb feature. Now what this allows you to do is put it into do not disturb mode, and you will get no screen coming on for notifications, no sounds, nothing at all. Perfect for night time. You could use it for meetings as well. You can configure it so you still get certain notifications through, such as emergency calls, for example. Brilliant way of integrating it into iOS 6, and absolutely superb. Love it. Love that feature alone for me means that I'm happy. I'm a happy camper with iOS 6. FaceTime was the next big announcement. Since FaceTime was announced, it's had limited appeal because you could only place FaceTime calls over Wi-Fi. Now we can do it over 3G. So that is brilliant news as well. Now we're going to move on to Safari on iOS 6. Now I mentioned in macOS 10, the next version of OS 10, we're going to get iCloud tabs. That's also coming in iOS 6, so you've got tabs available that were on your desktop, on your mobile device. We've also got photo uploads from Safari via a smart app banner. Now what this means is if you go to something like PhotoBucket or Flickr and you go to upload a photo, the Safari browser is going to be smart enough to actually know there's an app available. It will flash up a banner on your screen. You tap the banner, it goes to the app, you install the app, and then the app takes over from where Safari left off. That's the way I understood it, and if it works as fluidly as it has been described, it's going to be a brilliant feature. Very, very useful feature indeed. Then they moved on to Photo Stream, and this is a brilliant announcement as well. Instead of just having your own photo streams, you can share streams with friends and family. It will give them a push notification on their device that you shared a photo stream with them, and then it shows the photos to your friends and family that you shared with and allows them to comment on the photos. Brilliant, brilliant device. Next up, 3 more features to cover, and then I'm going to take some more questions from the viewers here in the stream. The first one was Mail. They've updated the Mail app. We've now got VIPs, which gives highlighted priority to specific senders. So you can favourite or put stars on your messages so that you can read them later. You've got a priority inbox already. Now, in addition to that, you can give priority to a VIP mailbox, so certain senders' messages come directly to your attention. They're highlighted so that if you're expecting very important emails to do with work, you can give them VIP status. Brilliant way of doing things. Now, the next thing they announced was Passbook, which is another new application. I wasn't too keen on this. I think it's very US centric, but it adds things like cards, loyalty cards for collecting points, say at Starbucks or something like that, tickets and boarding passes to your device. Can't see that happening in the UK anytime soon. I think it's going to be mainly US vendors that take that particular one up. And then the last announcement they did on iOS 6, which was one that we all really knew about before, was the goodbye to Google Apps and the hello to Apple Maps. So Google Maps has gone. Apple Maps is here in iOS 6. All done by Apple. All the cartography done by Apple, or they purchased it somewhere, of course. It includes traffic service, including instant reports. And then the big 2 features for me for Maps: turn-by-turn navigation, which includes quick routes and a 3D view, and the thing that might actually get me to use Siri, which is Siri integration. So you can actually say you want to go to X and you want the quickest route, and it will plan that route for you, and then you're off on your journey. So if Siri works as it should with iOS 6 and the Maps, the new Maps application from Apple, then I think they've got a winning combination on their hands. It's going to put a lot of other manufacturers of sat-navs and sat-nav apps out of operation. It might mean a lot of them aren't profitable anymore, but it might also inject some competition, make them improve their apps. The likes of TomTom, for example, which I use at the moment myself, they may well suffer in terms of sales, but they're going to just have to come back with more features. So I know Apple's done it again and sort of duplicated up on what a lot of developers were pushing out to their devices, but it's also good for competition. So that sort of concludes what was announced during WWDC. What I want to do now with you is actually go through some of your questions. I'm also going to have a quick look very, very quickly to see if the Apple stores are back up, which they are in the US, but they are not displaying any prices. The UK Apple Store is still down at the time of doing this recording. We can see on the US Apple Store some news that wasn't actually discussed during the keynote. And this is brilliant news, actually. New Mac Pros have just appeared on the App Store, on the Mac Store. What have we got? Has it got the new details yet? These still look like the old one when you click through. I'm going to take a screenshot of that very quickly, and or actually I can show you. I'll take a screenshot first just in case it disappears, and then I shall share this screen with you, and you can see here that we have in fact got new Mac Pros just sitting here. But when you click on the Mac Pro, I'm sure this is still a quad-core Intel Xeon processor, or 1.2. It looks like still the old specification for the Mac Pros. I might be wrong, but we've got a quad-core and a 12-core there. That looks like the old specification. Whilst I've got this screen up, I will just flick through to have a look at the new MacBook Airs. Again, I can't show you this on the UK store. The UK store is still down, but I will show you on the US store. We've got an 11-inch model here, 64GB, starts at $9,999. 11-inch 128GB model starts at $1,099. 13-inch model starts at 128GB of storage, $1,199, and the 13-inch 256GB model starts at $1,499. Now, I'm assuming that you can upgrade these when you select one. So let's select this top range model, and we've got 2 GHz dual core i7 turbo boost to 3.2 GHz, and we can in fact upgrade the memory to 8 GB. The 512GB flash storage upgrade is a mammoth $500. Oh my goodness. Let's go back out to select a MacBook Air again and see how that compares to maybe the 11-inch version. The 11-inch version, if you want to upgrade that to 512GB of flash storage, $800, people. $800 to upgrade that. That is a lot of money. Let's have a look at the MacBook Pros very quickly. We're going to concentrate, obviously, the normal MacBook Pros, the 13-inch and or the 13-inch on the left here has been upgraded. Has this been upgraded to? Yeah, this has been upgraded to new processors by the looks of it as well, with new storage capacities and Intel HD 4000 graphics. The 15-inch standard model again has been upgraded with new graphics and the new Ivy Bridge CPUs. And then on the right here is the new Retina display MacBook Pro, starting at $2,199 going up to $2,799 for the 2.6 GHz one. Let's select that and have a very quick look, and you can see we can upgrade the processor for $250. Let's do that. Upgrade the memory, 16 GB, and we'll go right up to the 768 GB of flash storage. So if you max out one of the new Retina display MacBook Pros, it's coming in at $3,749. That is a lot of money for a MacBook Pro, but they should perform extremely well indeed. So the UK store is still down. I can't bring you any news on UK pricing at the moment. Because I'm broadcasting live, I can't go off in search for that press release, but rest assured, when I've got the new pricing, I will let you know. So let us take some questions now, because we're coming up towards the end of this live stream. We've got roughly about 15 minutes left on this live stream. Sam J. Pullen has just actually confirmed that they are the old ones on the Mac Pros. I thought I was right. So there are new Mac Pros there somewhere, but they haven't updated the store with them yet. No new badge on the iMac, so it seems that we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for the new iMacs. So, first question, let's go down this list. We have got from Hello, I am Indian. Why do you think Apple didn't announce the iPhone 5? Well, they announced iOS 6. I was sort of half thinking they might give us a sneak peek at the iPhone 5. It obviously wasn't ready, and the normal time frame we would expect for the iPhone 5 is around about September, October time. I personally think we're going to have to wait till October. Next question. Lots of people saying how much. Yeah, wow, big prices. Nate YouTube, or Natty YouTube, map app with Street View. Well, I might have missed the announcement about Street View. It certainly did offer a 3D view of buildings, and the way they've done these map updates, where Apple have done all of the cartography, it looks extremely beautiful to look at. I think they've done an awesome job on updating the map application, and I think it's great that they've brought it back into Apple and moved away from Google Maps. I mean, I love Google Maps, I use it on the desktop, but if Apple have done this right on their own devices, I think it's going to offer up a much richer user experience. Next one, Spinking 522, where is the disk drive for the new MacBook? Well, if you're referring to the new 15-inch MacBook Pro with the Retina display, there is no optical drive in there. You're going to have to use the external super drive that MacBook Air users have had to use. Next question, and very well spotted, Banging Tech Reviews, talking about the 17-inch MacBook Pro. Is there no 17-inch MacBook Pro model? There is no 17-inch MacBook Pro model. Very well spotted. I assume that once they've run out of inventory of the current 17-inch one, they're going to rely on the Retina display of the 15-inch one to sell that into the Pro market. Next question. Simsy 1997. And it's just skipped up to the top of my panel. Come on, Dave, get with it. Will I find myself using Siri more in iOS 6? Yes, most definitely. If all of these new services in iOS 6 actually come to the UK and work properly in the UK, then yeah, I'll use it a lot more. If Maps is just US based to start off with, I won't use it until it's updated. But I just hope that they've done worldwide international maps that are pretty much up to date in the UK as well, and then I could see myself using Siri a lot. How about you guys? Let me know in the comments. Will you be using Siri a lot? I know I will. New Mac Mini. Was there a new Mac Mini? Let's have a very quick look. I don't think that I saw anything about a new Mac Mini. There was no new Mac Mini announcement at all, so sorry about that. You've asked about new Mac Mini and there is none. Will you be buying the new MacBook Pro from Audi 12,000 or 12-3000? Possibly I will be getting in the new Retina display MacBook Pro. New MagSafe from Ash's Apps. Yes, there is a new MagSafe. It looks like on the new Retina display MacBook Pro, the MagSafe connector is slightly different and slightly thinner to accommodate that more slimline design that they brought out in the new MacBook Pro. And let's move all the way up to the top. And yes, the Apple UK store is up. So should we have a look? Let's have a look. Come on. I knew it was up because I looked just a minute ago. So let's switch over to the Apple store in the UK. And here we are. It's telling us that there is new Mac Pros as well. So we should open these up in different tabs. And let's start off by having a look at the new MacBook Air. And let's see what these are going to cost. So we've now got UK pricing, £849 for the 11-inch base model, £929 for the next one up on the 11-inch range, £999 for the 13-inch base model, and £1,249 for the top of the range 13-inch. I'm going to select this, see how much these upgrades are going to cost. Well, to upgrade to the fastest processor is going to cost you £120, 8GB of RAM is going to cost you £80, and the 512GB of flash storage, £400. Are you kidding me? That is a lot of money for that 512GB of flash storage. So, the top of the range MacBook Air is going to set you back £1,849 dispatched in 1 to 3 business days, and that's going to get you a dual-core i7 processor running at 2 GHz, 8 GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. Let's move on to the MacBook Pro next, and we've seen that there's been updates to the 13-inch and the 15-inch here. Correction to my earlier comment, I think somebody asked me if there's going to be a new 13-inch MacBook Pro, where there was updates to the 13-inch MacBook Pro already. Moving on to the Retina display one, You can see here 15-inch Retina display, a 2.3 GHz model, £1,799. The 2.6 GHz model, £2,299. Let's select this one, and you can see if we want to upgrade the processor, an extra £190. If we want to double the memory from 8 to 16 gigabytes, an extra £160. And going up to that 768 gigabytes of flash storage, £400. So a top of the range Retina display MacBook Pro is going to cost you £3,048.98, dispatched 3 to 4 weeks on this particular one. Let's go back to the MacBook Pro. So let's go back out to the main screen and just see if we select this base model. It's actually shipping 5 to 7 business days if you don't make any changes. And on the base model you can't upgrade the storage. You're stuck with the 256 gigabytes of storage in there, which is a bit of a shame. A shame that they don't give you those upgrade options on here. Adding extra memory doesn't add on any delivery time. Let's go back one screen again and let's select this one. And again, 5 to 7 business days until you start upgrading things. And it's once you upgrade that flash storage that the 5 to 7 business days changes to 3 to 4 weeks. So it's upgrading of the flash storage that's really going to change your delivery time on your new order. And then going back to the Mac Pros again, these are all showing as in stock. It is showing as a new model, but it's still showing the old specifications. So back to me, away from that screen, and I'll see if I've got any more questions before I wrap this up. Let me know, actually. This is not just about me speaking to you. What are you thinking? Let me know in the comments. Do you think this is too much? This is a lot of money for a MacBook Pro. The Retina display looks really rather special, but is it really going to deliver anything over and above what we've been used to? Top of the range Mac Pro, somebody's specced out there, £7,509. Oh my goodness. MacBook Pro is so expensive as well. I've got to agree with you. It is just so expensive to spec these machines out. Somebody else saying here, Nate YouTube, I think the new icon on the store is a mistake. It might be a mistake next to the Mac Pros, but it could be that they're going to do a quiet update later today. No more 8-core Mac Pro. So the 8-core has disappeared off of the website. So it could be that they have updated. It's just to me that they look the same. Intel Xeon processors. These just look like the same to me. Let me just select one, or have a look at the tech specs down below. It just looks like the same specification machine. This is not the upgraded one yet. Or is it? It's got a Xeon E5645 processor, or a W3565. It looks like exactly the same. So I'm guessing that the Mac Pros, they've still got to update the website with the new Mac Pro specifications. It might just be me having a blonde moment, but it looks like it is still the same specification. Mr. Matific, I would get the Retina display base model. If you do that, you're a top man. Go for it. Will there be a new 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro later on from the Slicker 83? I can see it going that way. I don't think they've done it at the moment, because I think they're just concentrating on getting enough displays for the 15-inch Pro model, which seems to have replaced the 17-inch model as well. So I think that's why they've held off doing the 13-inch, but I can certainly see them doing that next. Questions? Any more questions? Wow, it's been a really exciting night. I'm just trying to sort of think and just recap on what's happened and just go over some of the highlights, really. I mean, obviously it was nice to see the new MacBook Pro Retina display. That's probably one of the biggest announcements tonight. hardware wise, and I think that's a real game changer, because once they bring out these new apps on board to support the new Retina display, I think that is going to be a real big seller. You know, I mean, things like Final Cut Pro 10 being on that sort of Retina display is going to look awesome. And there was even talks of Adobe working on a new version of Photoshop, and even Diablo 3, the game, being updated for the Retina display as well. So once we got all of these apps supporting it, it really is going to be a game changer again. So Apple have really done well on that. I think the other sort of highlights for me was at least we got the upgrades to the other MacBook Pros in the lineup. But are people really going to buy them? Would you buy a 15-inch MacBook Pro when you know that there's a Retina display one? I know there's a big difference in price, but you know, is it really going to be a big seller? I don't think it is. I think a lot of people are going to find that extra money for the Retina display MacBook Pro. I would myself. I don't think I could. I would feel bad. I'd feel as though I was cheating myself if I bought the regular one, knowing that that Retina display one was there. Maybe I'll think different once it sort of comes to getting the credit card out, which I have got ready. This is my wallet. I did have it ready all the time, even though I was live streaming. It's sitting off to the side there, ready to know what to do with it. So maybe I will. The other highlights for me, I suppose, were the fact that Siri got updated, so that's good. But the real highlight of iOS 6 probably is the fact that we've got the new Maps application. And then in macOS 10, if I just refer back to my notes, I think with macOS 10, the biggest sort of update for me on that has got to be the sort of dictation. That was really nice. I like the dictation. I like the iCloud enabled apps. The Power Nap feature, although it's a really rubbish name, the fact that it keeps everything up to date, I think, is a really good thing as well. It's going to take time to get used to all of these new features, but I definitely have been sort of satisfied by what's happened. If I had to come away with one disappointment, that is that the iMacs weren't updated. I have also had somebody just in the comments say that the Mac Pros are the new ones. So before we finish this live stream, should we have a look? Let's have a very quick look at the new Mac Pros, because apparently these are the new ones, and you'll have to forgive me for not recognising that they are the new ones, but somebody is saying that they are the new ones. So let's have a very quick look. We've got a new E5645 processor in here, and that gives us a virtual 24 cores. Now it's coming in at £3,099. It still reads to me like the old version, but it looks like this might be a new processor number in here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay off covering the Mac Pros for now until I've actually looked at if there are any specific changes. I mean, Apple are saying these are new, but to me it just looks like the old processor. So rather than me just keep repeating the same thing over and over again, I'm going to check this out, and I'll bring you a separate video on the Geekanoids channel just covering off the Mac Pros in a separate video. After all, it's a very, very important update. So I think it's more important to get the accurate information out to you and not just blurt out something that isn't accurate. That's it for this live stream. My voice is going. It always goes when I do these long sort of talking sessions with you. I really love live streaming on YouTube. I think it's got a big future in it for the Geekanoids channel. A big thank you to all of you guys as well for coming into the live stream. It really does make me so happy to see such a big number in there. Total view time of 68 hours on this live stream so far. Please do leave me loads of extra comments after I close the live stream down. It's been a real pleasure bringing you all of this up-to-date information on WWDC. New MacBook Pros, new MacBook Airs, macOS 10 features, iOS 6 features. Wow, it has been really great and a very exciting evening for me. I can only thank you just once more. please do subscribe to the Geekanoids channel. It really does help me out. If you want to follow me on Twitter or tweet me any questions, follow @Geekanoids and you'll get all of my latest updates. And any questions you've got, either tweet me or leave it in the comments below underneath this video. Again, thank you very, very much for joining me. I will see you all again in a video on the Geekanoids channel tomorrow, and I'll bring you another live stream very, very soon. Thanks again, and thanks for watching.